welcome to the Play That Wade Out show. You know, it's been a while since we've been on. Really, it's been kind of a dead season right now for the Vols and everything. But we had a special opportunity to invite one of the legendary players. Today, our special guest is, of course, it's me and Wyatt as normal, but we have our special guest, Jabari Davis. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jabari. Sorry.
Thank you guys for having me on, man. I appreciate you reaching out to the good thing you got going on.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we want to go ahead and get started. Man, I tell you, how long has it been since you put on that uniform, Jabari?
It feels like it's been about 30 years, man. But really, you're looking at probably since 2004 was my last time running out that tee. So, you know, it's getting up there, man, close to almost 20.
Right, time flies, man. Speaking of the tee, man, how energetic was it to run through the tee?
It was a incredible feeling, man. It was, your adrenaline is going, the excitement is going. It's just, an unbelievable feeling that I hope kids can experience one day. It's just really you really can't describe it. It's just you live through it and get to the tee and just see that atmosphere, what it's like playing in front of 100,000 fans and going through that moment like that, man. It's just next to having my children and being thankful, man, one of the greatest experiences I ever had in my life.
Right. Great.
All right, Jabari, so I got a question for you that,
Yes,
a lifelong Tennessee fan, it's a game I always bring up to people, so it's great to finally be able to ask a legend about it. That 2001 game, end of the season against Florida, y'all came in 17.5-point underdogs. I think y'all are ranked 4th in the nation coming to that game, national title, SEC championships, all the line. Was just y'all being 17.5-point underdogs kind of being disrespected? Is that all the motivation y'all needed? Or, Coach Fulmer had to tell y'all something? Or what was it that, really, got that y'all knew y'all were going to go in there and take that game from Florida?
Well, that game was so special, man. You remember, that was the 9/11 game. That game was canceled in the regular season, and they pushed it back. So it was a lot on the line that whole weekend. And it was just a special moment because, if you follow the Tennessee-Florida tradition, it's usually whoever wins that game is in hunt for the national championship if you finish out strong in the SEC championship. So that game and all the expectations that we had, man, just really put us back to that moment where, we were in the summer, training, practicing, doing all the extra gritty work to get better as a team, all the hard work, all the sacrifices that we made. And it was time to let it loose. And, we were not going to let that Florida team beat us by any means, man. We just dig deep, and we found a way to get out that situation and win the big game. But it was just a lot during that time throughout the world. People were still trying to rebound in our lives, in America. Everybody was trying to come together, and it was a lot on the line, man. And I felt that it was our moment. I don't care how far we behind. We got to win this game, and we got to figure out a way to get back to a championship. Also, we had so many seniors on that team with some of the greatest leaders I ever played for. John Henderson, who was a great leader. Albert Haynesworth. We've had Jason Witten, who was just a sophomore that year. But just those guys, that fire in those guys, that passion in those guys, will not let us down, man. And as a young guy, I got to witness one of the greatest performances I ever seen in my life from Travis Stevens. Travis Stevens really put on a clinic that game and just really put himself as one of the greatest running backs ever at UT. So that's one of my greatest memories, man. As a Vol, even though I scored 2 touchdowns that game, helping Travis out when he ran the ball in to the goal line and punching it in. But just that team, that leadership, that coaching staff, and that swag that we had all year.
Love to hear it, man. Is that where you got the Gator Killer name, self-proclaimed Gator
No,
Killer?
no, not that game. The 2003 Florida game, man, that's where that came about. I was the SEC Player of the Week that game, man. Ran right at 100 yards, 2 or 3 touchdowns, and just really move him up. Why are you out here? Thought I had a break.
That's all right. We got the babies. That's okay. That's all right. Part of it. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So the Gator Killer stuff started that game, man. It was one drive, man. I got the ball like 5 or 6 times, and I was just running everybody over, high-stepping people, man. Nobody could bring me down. I was just motivated, man, to get that ball in the end zone. And when you look back at my numbers, I had more touchdowns against Florida than any other Tennessee running back that ever played. I had 6 touchdowns versus the Florida Gators in 6 years. And when you cut on that 2003 film and also that 2002 film, man, you just see me just running through Gators. I don't know what it was about Florida, but I always just knew that game was a big indicator of us getting to that national championship. Every goal we had back then was to get to the national championship. We were a top 5, top 10 team, and that was always our number one goal. And the Gators were always that team that could be that could be the deciding factor for us reaching our goal or not. So we had to turn up and play extra hard, and that's where that stuff came from.
Okay, sounds good. Jabari, we got our first question for you. It's from James Hughes. It says, who laid the hardest hit on Jabari and vice versa?
Man, people won't believe this story, man. A little guy, a little no-name safety from Rutgers. I played. I had the opportunity to play against Sean Taylor,
right?
John Bilma, Vince Wilfork, some really good players from that Miami Hurricane team back in the early 2000s. Also playing against Thomas Davis at Georgia. He was a hard hitter. All those SEC teams back then, man. But a little safety from Rutgers came in on a blitz, man, and I wasn't expecting him to get lower than me. And he got so low and just popped me right up under my chin. Dude, I was knocked out for about 10 seconds, man.
Oh, really?
Bust my chin strap open, bit my bottom lip, had to go to the sideline, get some, and get myself back alert for a little bit, man. That was my first time ever really being just knocked out, just for a little bit. Not a long time, but he hit me right up under that chin, man, hit that button and got me good. And I had to have a new respect on little guys just because I was 6 foot, 245 pounds, man. I had to make sure I came with it.
Right.
Whenever it's pickup, I can't come up there and just think, oh, this little guy, I'm just going to kill this kid. So.
Right. Well,
that was it.
Okay, sounds good. Do you remember anybody that you feel like you laid the wood to the best? If that makes sense.
Man, that Florida game, that safety number 9, Gus Scott. If people watch the film, it's on YouTube. For 2 years, man, I took that safety to the woodshed.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
2 years in a row.
Okay.
And he was a pretty good safety. But every time he tried to come downhill and tried to hit me, man, I would always try to knock his head off anytime I could, man. And I got him good that 2003 game, man. He came up and tried to hit me again. Bam. Knocked his butt out the game. But I was giving it to him for 2 years. And I let him know, man, hey, it's going to be a long day of hell. You trying to tackle me.
That's right.
So.
That's right. Sounds good. We got another question for you from a viewer. And right now we want to thank our viewers. We got 16 people watching live. That's pretty good. Appreciate that. It's from Jared McCoy. And he says, who was Jabari's personal rival, the school he wanted to beat more than anyone?
Growing up in Georgia, of course, my personal rival was against Georgia. I had a lot of friends that played at the University of Georgia. A lot of, teammates that I had in high school in Georgia played on that team. So personal would be Georgia because it's all about bragging rights. Every time you go back home, you hear it from your friend, from your high school teammates, high school coaches, things like that. So personal for bragging rights when I go back home will be the Georgia Bulldogs. But, when it came down to the season and what Tennessee stood for and us getting to where we needed to be, it was the Florida Gators.
Okay, sounds good, man. We got another one. Great questions, man. Derek Bowers, this is a long one. See if I can get this all out. It says, in sports, we often use the phrase remind me of. As Vols fans, we see a big physical back from Georgia, and we saw reminds me of Jamal Lewis. J-Train, did you embrace that, or did you want to carve out your own legacy?
Well, growing up in Georgia, man, Jamal is still the GOAT. And, looking up to him in high school, and he was a real big decision maker for me coming to the University of Tennessee. I hung out with him when I was in high school. I used to work out with him when I was in college. He was always a big brother for me. So, his mindset and trying to get to a level where he was always a dream of mine. But, some guys are just different, man. That's the reason it's only one Jamal Lewis. It's only one Peyton Manning. So, those guys, you can try to get as close to them as you can, but it's kind of hard, man. When God made Peyton, God made Jamal, and God made some of these other greats, man, God really took his time on them. So, you can only just, try to do your best to live up to those shoes and embrace that shadow of playing that same position. But it's only one of those guys. That's it.
Right. Okay. Derek has some more, but I'm going to skip. I'm sorry, Derek. We got another one. Jordan Newell. He's actually a Florida Gator fan, I believe. It says his statement, he didn't have a question for you, Jabari, but he had a statement. Vols beat Florida a couple of times after Sperry retires, and Jabari acts like he won the Super Bowl. Now, you don't have to reply to that. The
thing about it, when you have a personal record against that team,
right,
speaks bragging rights. So Florida, when you look at my era and what we did, that speaks volumes. So I know over the last couple of years, it's not been a big rival, but when you personally was on the field doing work and doing damage, I could brag any way I want to brag.
Thank you. As a matter of go ahead.
He played Florida 2003.
That's right.
So it's on my wall. Until you do something like that, you need to be quiet.
Okay. Did you get that, Jordan? All right. Hey, Brad, go ahead and put the little stat up. As a matter of fact, for those of you who don't know, Jordan Newell, we got the all-time rushing touchdown leaders. And look at number 10. He's tied, actually, Jabari Davis with 22. So that's pretty amazing. Tennessee's been playing football since 1902. I'm sure there's been a couple of seasons that they didn't play because of World War I or World War II, I believe. But regardless, so over 115 years, and he's in the top 10 for rushing touchdowns. So that's like you said, that's something to be proud of.
Exactly, man. I'm not the greatest. I never said I was going to be the greatest and this and that, but I made a statement, man. It's a lot of opportunities. I felt like I should have got the ball more. My senior season, I got hurt with a hamstring issue. With a hamstring injury. My freshman year, I had limited reps with Travis Stevens being the star running back. But for 2 years, man, anytime I got the ball, I made something happen. And I was 13 for 13 inside the 20. I was never stopped inside the 20. One thing about 3-4, when I got the ball, I was going to score. So, until they stop me, then I would be quiet. But right now, I can say, hey, I'm 13 for 13.
That's right.
I've never stopped.
That's
never
right.
been.
Awesome, and that's awesome. Why, you got another question for him?
Yeah, all right. Jabari, we got a question here from Doug Benton. Who is the biggest trash talker during your playing days, from opponents and also on the UT team?
Biggest trash talker would be Kelly Washington, who played with us. Played with Victor.
The baseball player?
No, Kelly Washington, receiver. He's a receiver.
Well, didn't he play baseball before he played at UT?
Yeah.
He was like 26 out there, right?
Man, Kelly came to UT playing 3 or 4 years professional baseball.
Okay.
So he was a grown man. So he was 23, 24 years old, paid for his school. But that man, he backed it up. He worked hard in the weight room. He had a plan. Play 2 years, go to the NFL. And the man hadn't played football since 1996 and came in as a freshman and played wide receiver for the first time ever in his life and was a Playboy All-American. Oh. So that was incredible. But yeah, Kelly was the ultimate trash talker.
He's out there picking on the little juniors, huh? The little people younger than him.
About Kelly Washington and the whole future thing that he was on back in the day, and him just being a big diva on the football team. But hey, he walked the walk, he talked the talk. He was the ultimate competitor and a great teammate.
All right, we got a question also from Matt Green. Matt said, have you recently been back in Knoxville? If so, do you see a difference in morale and motivation in the recent teams in comparison to the teams he was a part of?
That's a good segue. We can go ahead and start talking about what we're expecting. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jabari.
I thought, man, I've been seeing some flashes. Of course, we know Tennessee football has dropped tremendously over the last 15 years, man. We just aren't getting those kids that are ready to play immediately. Back 15, 20, 25 years ago, we were getting those Alabama-type players. That's the reason we were competing for championships. Now we're getting more developmental kids where they're not ready quite in year one, year two, that maybe can play SEC football in year three. I see some flashes here and there, but most importantly, we got to start winning some games. Mm-hmm. We got to start, winning games that we're supposed to win, and sneaking up on beating some people that we're really not supposed to beat. And, get players that are going to dial in, people that understand the tradition here and what it's going to take to get us back over that hump. So I see flashes here and there. It's some work that still needs to be done. Hopefully Coach Heupel can point us in the right direction and get a lot of good players back on this football team, man. We got to recruit. And, it's difficult now than it was 20 years ago. When you're a successful football program, you're going to get the best players in the country. Coach Former had that Nick Saban type swagger where he just comes into your locker room or comes into your living room and basically tells you, hey, do you want to come win or not? That's all he really needed to say, because if you look at the track record, it spoke for itself. But now we got to really recruit these kids and turn kids away from some of these more successful programs. So it's going to take some time, man. I think if we could come out, get into a good bowl game this year and get two really good, strong recruiting classes, I think we can definitely at least be in the hunt for SEC championships, just be in the conversation somewhere.
Okay. All right. Let me see here. You said something about, do you feel like Coach Heupel, and we're going to talk a little bit more, you do a lot of coaching with youth and things like that. We're going to talk about that a little later. But do you feel like Coach Heupel is going to be that developmental coach? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you have those kind of coaches that they have to have good players. Do you think that him and his coaching staff are going to be able to develop players?
We will see. That's always a mark when you get new coaches, even if they have a great resume. Sometimes it's a good fit. Sometimes it's not a good fit. So I'll be able to judge by year 2, year 3.
Yeah, that's all you need. Yeah, I agree.
I definitely think he's going to help our offense tremendously and help our quarterback. If you look at Tennessee's struggles over the last couple of years, number one has been quarterback play. And in the SEC, man, if you don't have good quarterback play, man, your team is not going to be successful. So we have a coach that has been very successful coaching quarterbacks, that has actually played the position, was a Heisman Trophy finalist for the position. And every school that he's went to has had offenses that have been in the top 10 in that conference. So, he's developed some really good quarterbacks. I think if you look at his resume, after all the coaches we had over the last 10 years, he's more qualified than anybody because he put in the work.
Right.
So, even though he's not a big name and he doesn't have a ton of guys he produced in the NFL and this and that or whatever, but I definitely think he's a good ball coach, and let's give him an opportunity. If we gave Pruitt an opportunity, if we gave Dooley an opportunity and
that's
a chance,
I'm sorry,
we could give him a chance as well. But Tennessee fans are tired of being patient. And, and it's hard when you see lack of production over the last 12 years, man. So
Very much
I
so.
understand. I understand the the fans being frustrated. That's normal behavior because you invest so much in this club, and you just want to see the results. So let's see if we can get those results and see some changes offensively. I think if we can improve quarterback play, man, it'll help us out all over the field.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so Jared McCoy also has a question for you. We've had several years of coaching changes, losing seasons, and underdeveloping players, but we still have first-class facilities and one of the best stadiums. How important are the facilities to recruits?
It's very important, man. Guys want to see, guys going on all these different visits. They're comparing facility, locker rooms, stadiums, all the cool stuff that they see at these facilities to all the other schools. So it's very important for those kids that you got a place where you can call home and you have some cool, unique stuff that you can do. But if you're not winning games, I don't care if you got locker rooms that spin and you got jerseys with gold in it or silk in it and helmets that are chameleon and can change colors and do all this type of stuff. And you got Jordan this, Jordan that. Kids want to win. So, that's the biggest thing when it comes to recruiting. Kids want to be successful. Kids want an opportunity to go to the NFL. I don't want to be standing on the sideline losing a big game in a $1,000 jersey, and helmet, looking cool and this and that, and not winning big games. So it's very important, but winning is more important.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And we got Derek Bowers here. And this sort of leads into something I want to talk to you about because you're one of the former players that's pretty active, interacts with all Twitter. He said, what are your feelings about grown men or strangers in general tweeting recruits to come? Obviously, fools harassing players like JG was uncalled for. But as far as please come to UT, thoughts?
As long as you're not rude, respectful, as long as you're not a stalker with it. You got some guys that like to stalk kids. They have nothing else going on. But Twitter gives fans an opportunity to engage in players and get connected with them more than ever over the last 10 years. When I was playing, fans couldn't do that. You had to go on the message board or, see a kid out, build a relationship with them. But now with Twitter, you can send a kid a DM and talk to him about the university and get to know the kid and send the kid some different stats on schools and how much you love and appreciate them, how much they need them and things like that. So as long as you do it in a respectful way, I don't see a problem with it. Now, if you're tweeting kids 24/7, waking up and that's the first thing you do before you even wash your face and brush your teeth, or even you're spending more time tweeting kids than you are with your own children, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
So, guys, you gotta manage both. If you're a super fan, I understand it, but don't turn into a beggar and a nagger where kids end up blocking you. And don't be disrespectful when the kid commits to another school or signs to another school, man. Don't take it that personal. Don't get rude. Don't call them out or be disrespectful, man. This kid is doing something positive in his life. Tennessee didn't work out. This school didn't work out with him. And he chooses to go to this school. So salute the kid in it, either way. Wish him success and keep it moving, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you've talked so much about kids and everything, and we know you've been doing a lot with kids and kid development in football camps. I heard I saw on an article that you took over, I think it used to be called the Philip Forner Hall of Fame camp.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then now they call it the, what do they call it?
Legends of Tennessee.
Okay, how long you been involved with that?
Man, I started this in 2018.
Okay.
When I was doing Coach Former stuff before he became an AD, man, and we had a lot of fun as former players, getting back around one another and giving the kids everything that we learned in the game of football and the game of life. So I just wanted to continue that bond and keep guys grounded and keep guys connected and keep us in the communities, uplifting these kids and showing these kids the right way to play this game. And like I said, the right way to be successful.
Right.
When you're not playing a game of football in the community, in the classroom, things of that nature. So it kind of took off. We had our first camp was very successful. We had AJ, what's AJ's name? AJ Johnson came and worked the first camp. Before he got picked up by the Broncos, I got guys from the 80s, 90s, 2000s back together. And for 3 days, man, we had a great football camp. So we started taking it all over the state because we felt like, hey, we need to give this knowledge to the West Tennessee kids, to the Middle Tennessee kids, not just East Tennessee kids. And let's get all of us back together.
Okay.
It's balls all over the state. Let's come back together, not just for homecoming, not just for VFL weekend and things like that. Let's come together for the communities and for these kids and put together a quality camp and teach them all the knowledge that they need to be successful. So that's how it started, man. And in 4 years, we had over 1,500 kids that have attended our camps. And we're excited about this season as well. We started this season in March, went to West Tennessee, had about 500 kids in camp. A couple last month, we were in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. Had about 100 kids. And this weekend coming up, we have our big 3-day camp, and we'll have about 150 kids attending that camp. And I got about 15 former players coming back together.
Okay, and that's going to be in Sevierville, Tennessee, correct?
Yeah, that's in Sevierville, Tennessee. And that's our big camp. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then the week after that, man, we'll be back in your old hometown of Soddy Daisy.
Daisy.
We got your brother, Big Vic, got him working. I know he's been doing a lot for Baylor and a lot of great things with kids and coaching and things like that. So we get a chance to be around him for the weekend and share those stories, laugh and talk.
Okay.
And teach these kids a game of football, man.
Okay, sounds great. Now, speaking of Victor out there, and you also, y'all ain't gonna be drilling them on catching passes or anything, are y'all? Looked at now, even though you did very, very well with 22 rushing touchdowns, I looked at the receiving touchdown. I didn't see one, Jabari. So you ain't gonna help on that, are you? I know poor Vic can't either. I know he had one reception.
Receiver as I got older.
I'm sorry, repeat that. I had a little interference. I'm sorry.
I said, I'm a better receiver as I got older.
Oh, okay. All right. It sounds good.
But, back then, man, they didn't really ask the running backs to do a lot on third down. On third down, you were blocking. Now on third down, you play slot.
Right.
So you got to be a really good athlete to play running back now. Back when I played, it was just smash, 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 block, ISO, sweep here, between the tackles here. But now, you have to be that Alvin Kamara type running back. So, I've learned a lot from having kids and coaching how to run routes. So that's one thing I added to my resume.
Okay. As you got older, that's right. Let's go ahead and put up the website so anybody who's interested in, we can go to legends-of-tennessee.org. And so, is it too late to sign up for the Sevierville camp?
The Sevierville camp will close registration on Thursday.
On Thursday.
We have 25 tickets left.
25.
On that. We cap our camps at
Hold on one second, Jabari. I think we got a little.
Usually 100. Keep it control. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. For some reason, our video went out. But go ahead and keep talking. I think we can still hear you. Maybe we haven't. Maybe we lost you, Jabari.
Yeah, like I said,
give us a second here. Let's see. Oh, there you are. You're back now. Okay, go ahead, Jabari. I'm sorry. We had a little, or maybe we ain't.
We have 20 to 25 tickets left. Can you guys hear me good?
Yeah, we can hear you better.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we got about 20 to 25 tickets left. So register as soon as possible. The last day to register will be Thursday. Our camp's at 150 for this big camp, usually 100 just to keep it organized and controlled correctly. A lot of camps have too many kids.
Okay.
But on our camp, focus on having 2 coaches to 1 group.
Okay.
So you get a lot of one work, a lot of attention, and a lot of great coaching. And it's a great experience, man. One of the best football camps and football coach camps you will go to. And for every position, boys and girls that are interested to play, come out, learn the game of football, learn what it takes to be great on and off the field, learn 2 positions. And, we'd love to have you out. So everything is on our website, legendsoftennessee.org. We're working on putting 2 more camps in July, Greenville and Bristol. We'll have that information up probably in the next 2 weeks. So we're excited.
Okay. And then I don't think we talked about the one at Saudi Daisy as far as the last day to register on that one. Did we? Or if we did, I missed it.
For Saudi Daisy, the last day would be the 18th.
The 18th. Okay.
Yeah, the Saudi Daisy dates are on the legendsoftennessee.org website. Go to camps, look for the Saudi Daisy camp. That Friday night, we're having a Q&A session. So you guys, if you guys want some content for your show, man, we'll have everybody there. We have over 10 guys. Friday night, we're doing a Q&A session and Legends of Tennessee night. So we'll just be talking, sharing UT football stories, what guys are doing now, our favorite games, our favorite plays, all that type of stuff. We got Tony Robinson coming out, VFL legend in the 80s, Billy Ratliff, defensive tackle on the 98 National Championship team, Eric Westmoreland, Victor McClure, Gerald Riggs, Chattanooga native. Right. Big time running back, big teammate of mine. Man, a lot of guys will be coming out to that camp. So if any media is interested in coming out and getting some content, hit me up. Our email is on the legendsoftennessee.org website. Let us know if you want to come, man. We'd love to help you out.
Okay, sounds good. Jabari, man, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We got a train. We wouldn't have a show if we didn't have a train coming by. But anyways, we want to thank you again for so much for taking the time out to spend with us.
No problem, man. I appreciate you guys reaching out to me, man. Keep up the great work, man. I like the show.
Oh, thank you so much. And we hope to have you back on, where people will be more fiery during the season. It's kind of a, dead season right now. But
yeah.
So we can get your thoughts on a Florida game or a Georgia game.
Exactly, man. Just hit me up.
All right.
I'll be on.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Cue the music, Brad. There we go.